You can also follow them on Facebook. Well, our topic tonight, a very important one, is immigration. Everyone knows that that's really a hot button issue right now. And Natasha, of course, is just really an expert in this area. So, Natasha, before the break, the question I asked, if someone is in the country currently illegally and they're hearing everything that's going on, would you advise them to go ahead and leave the country now, or would you say, no, stay here, stay put?
Thank you for asking me this question. That's actually one of my favorite questions to discuss right now. I do not believe people should just pick up and leave, because certain immigration benefits could be affected by people just leaving. So certain applications require you to have stayed in the US for so many years. So cancellation of removal, which is like a defense in immigration court. So say someone is about to be deported, they can say, I've been here for 10 years and I have US citizen children and I'm a person of good moral character and my children would suffer hardship if I were to be deported. So that's a defense, but yet it counts on how many years you have lived in the US. So if you leave voluntarily, you lose that physical presence requirement and you would not be able to claim that from outside of the US. There are other programs that also consider how many years you have been here. Also, if people have been in the US illegally for over a year, they have a bar, an unlawful presence ban that comes into play only if they have already left the country. So once they're outside of the country, they would not be allowed to come back for 10 years. So people a lot of times do not know that. They think, okay, I'm just going to leave voluntarily and then I will come back, or I will start filing the paperwork from my country. And sometimes you have a better chance of success if you file from here. So what I suggest for everyone who is concerned about their status, first find out what your status is. Are you lawfully here on a temporary status? Because I talk to some folks that, believe it or not, they do not know what their status is. They think they have a work permit and that grants them certain benefits, but it may not. Also, I would find out what that person is eligible for, because there are so many immigration programs that some people don't know about. Not necessarily we have programs for everyone, but sometimes people do not know that they qualify for something. And so I would encourage folks to speak to a licensed immigration attorney to make sure that they know their status and if they're going to lose certain benefits by departing. So I would do that prior to taking any steps to leave the country.
And you said something very important, a licensed immigration attorney, because earlier in the show, if you remember, Natasha was talking about scammers and scams that are out there. So how does someone know if an immigration attorney is really legitimate or not?
That's a great question also. And in fact, a client asked me last week, they said, how do we know that you are an immigration lawyer? And that's a good question, because really there is no special law school for immigration lawyers. We all go to the same law school. How do you know that someone is experienced in immigration and or that they are a licensed attorney at all, because there is a lot of fraud going on now. So the way you know that a lawyer is licensed is they have to have a bar card from a state in the US. So someone must have provided them with a law license, and immigration law is federal, so you can practice it anywhere in the country, yet there has to be a law license from a certain state in the US. Okay. And then from then on you could read about the attorney and see the cases they have done and maybe the CLEs they have presented at. And if they're a member of any immigration lawyer associations or societies, there is a national AILA is the biggest American Immigration Lawyer Association, so that is a good indicator that if a person is a member there, they are probably a licensed attorney, and that is that has practiced for a while.
So is it the Alabama State Bar that you would recommend they call and just I want to ask about Natasha Snow. Is she really, does she have a law license in Alabama? Is she an immigration attorney? Is that where you would suggest they start?
That's correct. I
Okay.
would ask that attorney, what law license do you hold?
Okay.
And then call that state bar.
Okay, okay.
Wow, it's a shame you got to do that.
Yeah, it is.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you got to do it.
So is there, so you hear about a backlog in immigration, I guess, with the number of cases and the number of judges assigned or available to hear cases. Is there that much of a backlog in the immigration world right now?
We do see a huge amount of backlog. Some of our USCIS cases have not been responded to in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
I still have some immigration court cases that have been pending for over 10 years. So yes, there is a huge backlog. Immigration cases routinely are taking a long time, but I think that we will see an increase in the processing times now.
And very quickly, because we're almost out of time, those that are taking 10 years, are those folks being detained while their case is still going, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay, okay. Just was curious.
Usually not that long.
Okay.
Yes, and detained cases do move faster.
Okay, okay.